Unfortunately, when I went to put them in, it is maybe about like 10 millimeters too narrow. Welcome to 28 Days of Pokemon, where every day through February we document and share a new Pokemon adventure. Welcome to day 6 of our 28 Days of Pokemon series. So today we're doing a bit of a product review of just a bunch of different bits and pieces I've picked up from Temu. Some of them are new, some of them I've had sitting around for a while, but I thought it'd be good to go through and just have a look at, what's involved in doing Pokemon on a budget. If you're like us, we don't have a huge amount of money to spare, and so where you can sort of do things a little bit cheaper, sometimes that can help. To start with, I've got a couple of Playmats. This one I've had for quite a while, this one is a new one, but I thought one thing I wanted to show was the difference in the finish of them. So these aren't licensed products, obviously being from Temu, so do with that what you will. This one you might have seen in some of my earlier videos. It's quite a nice mat. It's the colours on it are really nice, the finish on it's nice. It doesn't have any stitching around the edge, and that's the difference between the two of these, but it still holds together fine, and you'll find that on licensed Playmats as well. Some of them do have a edging on them, some of them don't. So this is an older one that I had that doesn't have the finished edges on it, but then we've got, this is the one that I picked up for this video. So the colours in this are nice, but they're not sort of terribly bright. They're not as bright as they are on the other one, but it does have a really nice edging on it. The finish on this one's actually surprisingly good. These mats usually retail for sort of starting at about the $10-15 up to $20, $25. Sometimes for some of the larger ones, they do different sizes. Which is one nice thing about the Temu stuff, is you can actually, if you want a large playmat, you can get your design in any size that you pick, but obviously the designs are a little bit hit and miss. That being said, you can pick up licensed playmats on sale for a similar sort of price, so it's not the only way of getting a cheap playmat, but it's definitely one way of getting a playmat on a budget. So from that, I've got item number 2, which is something that I picked up just for this video, and that is a playmat sleeve. So this cost, I think it was only about $2 or $3, and I know that I've been out to TCG to pre-releases and stuff like that before, and the playmat kind of just sits loose in the bag. This is just a sleeve. It seems to fit a standard size playmat with a little bit of space to move. $2 or $3. This is definitely something that you can do well off Temu. If you're putting in an order and you need something like that, that's somewhere you can look to get one cheap. Now the other playmat related item we have for this video is a playmat holder. So this holds 12 playmats. It hangs off the back of a door, and this cost about $15 on Temu. The quality of the plastic is fine. It's just like your standard PVC type finish. It's not fancy, but absolutely works well for storage. It's easy to put stuff in and out of. It fits a range of different mat sizes fine, including some that were quite thick as well, which I was impressed with. It doesn't sort of just need narrow ones, and they're easy to get in and out. So definitely an easy way of storing playmat, because up until we pick that up, ours tend to just take up space on shelves. So that is one item that I actually do highly recommend if you're just looking for some cheap mat storage. Moving on from that, I'm going to have a look at some of the more practical bits and pieces that we use day to day. Now we do have a number of local suppliers in Australia that do provide these, so I'm absolutely not selling these over, anyone who does sell these locally, but this is one thing that I do go to Temu for as my standard, just because I really like the size, I really like the fit, and that is these sleeves. So they're not priced massively differently to what you would pay for normal penny sleeves in a store. For a box of 1200 sleeves, I paid about $10. I like the fit of these. They're not a perfect fit, they are just a standard penny sleeve. I like that they're not too high on the top because they go into binders easily, but they still have, just a nice amount of room in them. But yeah, so these are something that I do go to Temu for. Another thing I picked up recently was some graded card sleeves. So these were about $12 for 200. So these are just designed to fit PSA graded slabs. Often when you pick up a graded slab, they might have like stickers or something on the outside of their thing. So if you want to keep them inside a sleeve, or if we are shipping them out to other people, then I just sort of liked having something that was a bit clean and a bit fresh to put them in. They fit fine. They don't move around too much. Like, it's actually a really nice, neat fit around it. I did test with a couple of other slabs and they seem to fit pretty much any standard slab size. I haven't done a comparison for what they cost from Amazon or other places, but I know this is sort of a fairly generic thing that a lot of people just pick up from random spots. So I thought I'd have a look, and yeah, they're definitely past the bar. The other card sleeve item that I picked up is actually related to jumbo cards. If you're like me, these end up just floating around with nowhere to go. I did pick up some jumbo card sleeves to try out. So these were $8 for a pack of 50. They don't fit perfectly. They do fit in there, which is something. You know, it's good for if you just want something to put them in to store them, but they're not going to be a perfect fit. They're not going to work sort of for display or anything like that. I'm yet to actually find some that you can put it in. I've got a binder that's got like 2 spots in the middle that fit jumbo cards, but other than that, jumbo card storage is pretty difficult to find. Which brings me to the next item that we did get, was a binder. So this was not sold as a jumbo card binder, but it sort of looked fairly big in its space, so we thought we'd try it out. And just to show that I'm not going to give glowing reviews to everything, it didn't work. Unfortunately, when I went to put them in, it is maybe about like 10 millimeters too narrow, unfortunately. So these don't quite fit, didn't actually work, which is a shame because it would have been really nice to be able to just store a whole bunch of them in something that's just going to keep them neat and flat and, you know, a little bit better preserved than just floating around the studio, which is where they normally are at the moment. So that was a bit of a bummer. So our jumbo cards, we do have something that we can put them into. We can store them all in one of these sleeves, which is at least better than nothing, but it's not a product that I'd recommend going for if you are looking for something to do with jumbo cards. But you know, that was kind of the point of this, was we were trying out different things just to see what works and what doesn't. Another item that we've actually had for a little while is this card deck. So this is one that I did pick up for probably about $15. It wasn't too expensive. I really like it. It's magnetized, so it has a nice little box there that you can put your coins and your dice in. The lid comes off, or you can just sort of half open it. That snaps back on, snaps onto the side and holds on there with magnets fairly well. You've got space for your deck in there. You can actually fit 2 decks in there fairly comfortably. And then, yeah, just fold over closure, space at the side for a display card if you want. Fairly cheap, but it's actually decent quality. And you know, if you've got a few different decks, if you're just looking for a way to carry your deck around, it looks a little bit nice. And that, then yeah, that's sort of one option. Yeah, from memory it was about $15 for these. They've got a couple of different varieties. They've got smaller ones as well, but this is definitely one of the more successful items that we've picked up from Temu. Another item that we get from Temu that does get a fair bit of use is bulk boxes. So there's a couple of different designs that you can get. We do have ones that are 4 spaces wide, but then I've got a couple of different types that are just your single row ones. So this is probably the cheaper option that they've got. They take cards laying down, so they're sort of a little bit on the loose side, but they're also fairly cheap. Like, these are sort of a good budget option if you're just putting bulk aside. You can always run a little bit of tape around the edges to hold them together a bit better. And these are good if you're just looking for somewhere just to put bulk away. The other sort that we have, and these are the ones that I tend to use more, these are the ones that hold them vertically. They have plenty of space. They sort of do the same thing. These also work to hold top loaders quite comfortably. They're actually really nice size for holding top loaders. So if you've got a collection of stuff that you've got kept in top loaders that you want to store somewhere, then these are a great option for that too. And the upside to the cardboard boxes is that you can actually just write on them. So, you know, we have ours labelled with whatever sets are in them, just so that they're easy to go through. Unfortunately, there isn't one that's labelled with the Phantasmal Flames missing cards that we're trying to track down at the moment. Now, this is something that I use quite a lot. I've got a couple of different types of card stands. So these are the ones that I use just as my standard ones on videos. They're just a little sort of tripod-ish type one, little easel type thing, holds cards really nicely. They do have a tendency to fall off fairly easily, but it's kind of a little bit, that's the nature of the design. These cost, you get about 40 of them for $6, I think, from Temu. I have seen them on Amazon, usually a bit more expensive. The other ones that I got to try out in this video, they are a bit wider set. So these ones, they don't fit for a card. In a top loader, it still takes a little bit to balance it, but definitely a bit better. And easier than these, because the wider your base gets on these, the harder they are to balance on the narrower ones. What these are really good for though is for slabs. I think I'm going to be changing all of my slabs over to these, because the number of times I have gone to reach past my slabs and managed to knock half of them down because they're a bit too precarious over on these ones. So yeah, and so these were about 12 for $8 or something, and they were a little bit more expensive, and they just come in sort of like just a little flat packy type thing. You just put them together yourself, they're easy enough. So that's bulk storage and display. Then we have binders. So I get most of my binders from there. Honestly, the quality is a little bit hit and miss. Like they're absolutely fine in terms of the storage themselves, but I do find on camera, some of them I get really shocking glare off if I'm trying to record. Others are fine. So that's got Jake's one derpy rainbow VMAX Lapras in there.
You're not dissing my Lapras.
I'm not dissing your Lapras, I like that card. I gave you that card. These binders are fine, just if you want something functional. Honestly, I would probably, if you can afford it, go for one of the name brand binders. But just in terms of, you know, basic storage for something that you don't necessarily look at a lot, the binders on Temu are functional. They're not necessarily that cheap. They're a little bit cheaper than some of the name brands, but, you know, you're sort of probably still paying half the price, 2/3 of the price of your Palms Off Gaming or one of those sort of ones. So the other two sizes I've just got, this is just a fairly cheap one that I have that fits top loaders in there. I did have a moment there when I just thought I might have slipped my missing cards into here for safekeeping. Unfortunately, I didn't. Top loaded cards works fine. It's just a binder. And it's just a way of transporting it. This one's actually a little bit padded as well, but probably not the binder that I get if I was looking at using them to display or, you know, anything other than just as a basic transport type binder. And then the other one that I've got is just a standard 2x2. So this is just, you know, mostly my trade and bits and pieces like that. So this is the one that just gets chucked in the backpack if we're going out anywhere where trading may be involved. Just a handful of different bits and pieces in there. So just a fairly functional one. I think this was maybe about $19, $20 or something. It wasn't expensive. It's a little bit stained because it has been just carried around, but I think that's more to do with its use rather than the quality of the binder itself. It's functional, it's fine. So if you're looking for binders, they're an option. They're an option if you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper and just trying to save a few dollars. But you sort of do get a little bit what you pay for with the binders. They're not quite the same quality and not quite the same finish as some of the nicer stuff that you get from local brands. Now, this I got as a little bit of a novelty-ish item. Could be useful though. It's a centering tool for card grading. If we just grab a sample card here, so looking at the instructions, it says basically you center the card as closely as you can. So that would be just, you know, trying to get it roughly lined up, and then you just read the numbers on the lines. Honestly, I think that it's sort of probably more useful just for the ability to eyeball it. But, you know, I think this one doesn't look too bad. Looks sort of similar line up on each side there. Don't know if it'd grade a 10. It's a Korean dreadnought, so you know, if you're looking for just something to sort of be able to eyeball cards that you're grading, it might be useful to you. I kind of got it just for a bit of fun mostly, just to kind of test it out, see if I could work out how to use it. I haven't yet, but I think, you know, I think it's pretty much just use that as a way to eyeball the cards that you're looking at. So the final item I've got is a card slinger. I'm yet to actually work out how to use this, because when I did try and use it with the TCG collector app, I couldn't work out how to get the alignment correct. But I'm sure there is a way to do it. I just haven't actually put enough effort into it. This was about $25-ish, I think. It's something that I'm keen to actually try out. It looks like it's just a standard make, so I think that it was user error that was not quite working it out, not design error. You can set it up to go across different positions depending on what lines up for your camera. It's 3D printed basically, so but yeah, card slinger is probably about the cheapest one that I've seen around. Watch this space for whether or not it actually does work properly to use it, but it seems to be well made. Absolutely an option if you are looking for just a sort of cheap card slinger. So yeah, so that's our Temu review. I just thought it might be nice to go through some different things, give you some ideas of quality and things like that for some of the items that they offer that, you know, it might be cheaper to pick up there. Let us know if there's any other discount products you use, whether they're from Temu or somewhere else that others might find useful. And we'll see you tomorrow for our day 7 video. Catch you later.